Alright, this is my deck project. I'm doing a floating deck. It's only going to be about 5 feet wide and it's about 20 feet long. And it was difficult because there was basically a cliff where you see this concrete. It just went straight down. So the very first part of the project was building the ground out. The house was built on a cliff basically. Where the house ended, the ground ended. The first year I spent building this area out. It's really dangerous to go outside the back side of the house. I really needed to put a deck in this house because there's almost no house that's sold without a deck. But it was so difficult because I was either going to have to spend a ton of money and do a really tall deck, this 5-foot space here, or I was going to have to build this ground out and be able to do a very thin, long, floating deck that I didn't have to get a permit for. So that's what I went for. The least expensive idea. It was something I could just DIY myself. The first thing I had to do once I realized the ground was ready was put down a frame. I put down 2 boards like that, but I bought these mobile home connectors. They're pretty intense. They drill down into the ground. I'm putting 4 of those down, 2 for each board on this side. Then the next thing I did was I put a similar board over here on this side. And then I had to make sure that was level with that. And those I use my ram set because this is a lot of concrete back here. It's just super unstable concrete. There's nothing about it that was even, and then it quickly turns into dirt right about here. You have this pipe coming out here, which is where the water goes out from the master bathroom. So this is the master bathroom here. After I ran the 2 side boards, then I ran boards across to build my frame out. So I've got a board there. I've got a board on either side of the drain pipe. And then I've got a board running across here and another board at the end to build out this 20-foot long frame and make it really stable. Right here was a board that they had put in the ground quite substantially, so I didn't want to remove that. And then I went ahead and did Tapcon screws into that to hook to that board just to give it even more stability. There I was able to ram set that crossboard in, ram set that crossboard in, and ram set that crossboard in. After I had a nice stable foundation, it seemed pretty level and pretty solid. I started marking where the concrete bricks were going to go and put all these post holders in. Problem is, yesterday when I went to put brick over the post holders, I realized that I couldn't screw the post in. There's no room over here, as you can see. There's nowhere to get like a gun in there and screw the post into the post holder on this side. So now what I'm having to do, which really sucks, but it worked. I was just lucky. Now I'm having to pivot each one of these post holders. This side I pivot this way. So that way I'm able to get a screw in there and I can get behind here and there's enough room to get a screw in there before I put that one on. Here's another place where I kept a piece of the old porch back here. There was a whole porch here that I tore down, but I kept that piece and I kept this piece back there. My crossboard here was able to go into here for stability, so I couldn't ram set that to the ground. And then since this piece is so solid, I screwed this piece into there to give this board some stability on this side because there's no concrete on this side. Then I can get my post holders in. And the reason I'm putting the vertical post holders in is to give the concrete some more stability because I'm not doing rebar. They're only 3 high, so this is a full one. Just 1, 2, and then 3 is where the base of my deck is. I was able to do the project for pretty cheap. I think I'm right around $1,000 right now. These are going in, of course, at an angle like that. And like this. Also, I am soaking these cut ends. It's really important to use sealer anywhere where you make a cut. And then the brick goes over that. You know, at an angle like this, it's actually more stable. So in a way, it works out better because it really secures that brick on there. But I just felt safer to have these post holders in. But as you can see, it goes over the lines. I cut these wrong, so now I'm having to go back and take like that much off of each one. It's so annoying, but you know, now you can glue. I haven't been gluing these bottom ones because I'm doing these posts, but the first one that was the step there, I glued it with polyurethane. That's what sticks best, concrete to wood. I think I polyurethane this, even though I put a small post in the second step, I also polyurethane that to the ground. Put a concrete brick down, another one on top of that. Once I cut these, they'll be short enough, and then I put the third one on sideways so that we have these holes. And so these are going to be 3 high, and that'll run all the way down. And I'm waiting for those screws that'll go into the ground, give this further security, because the only place right now that this board is stabilized are with the crossboards. It's also stabilized to the house way down there. I went in and put a hurricane strap back there. I put corner braces on each side. Right here you can see there's a corner brace hooking it to this and then hooking it to that. There's just a hole back there. Like, there is nothing. And I'm going to keep as much of this base as I can because I don't want to deal with a hole under it. So I might keep part of this post. Yes. What do you think, Carly? Are we good? So I don't know what I'm going to do here yet. This is where it gets creative. So I cut this board in because my last concrete block has to fit in there. So I cut that away because I really didn't want to take that whole board up because I don't know if I'm getting rid of it yet. I don't know what I'm getting rid of here yet. So I decided to start down there and kind of build my way towards here, because if I get rid of these steps or do something here, then I have no way to get out here without it being dangerous. So I just decided to keep these steps here. That's how I'm getting out here to work right now. And then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do here. I think it'll be a lot easier to brainstorm once everything's done up to this point. And then I can figure out how to kind of do a build over using this framework as stability. I may have to take the top step out, but I don't think that I have to take the rest of them out. I might have to cut it down and run my 4x4 across here. And I may have to put some cement bricks on these stairs somehow and kind of cut into the frame a little. Such a crazy thing to have to deal with. Just the way this whole thing was done is so stupid. It's like, why didn't they just fill that in back there and concrete it up? But they didn't do what they didn't have to do. I think they just built the stairs over the hole and threw down some concrete back here in a half-assed way, and it was just awful. So I'm just doing the best I can, you know. Once it's done and it's stable, it'll at least be safe to come out here, and I can say that there's a deck on the back, even though it's the tiniest deck I've ever seen in my life. And I will do another video when I'm closer to having it done to show you the finished project, but right now this is where we're at. That is everything I have done thus far, which has taken me, I would say, a few weeks. So the rest of it is pretty easy. It's just tedious. Talk to you later. Bye.